Well, hello, all you bison maniacs. You have to be a maniac to watch me. Having my Trump coffee, and it's about 11:58, almost midnight. And I'm out here working on my meal. I've got it running temporarily right now on the original motor. I was having a little bit of chatter in my DC treadmill motor, and it got me to thinking that I'd like to just go ahead and put it back the way it was. And so I put the motor back in it and plugged it back up where they were supposed to be plugged up, and I didn't get anything. The board was dead. I don't know why that board's dead, but I fried 2 controllers, and man, I'm pissed about it too. One was an accident and one was for me testing it. I hit the wrong lead and it blowed the damn it blowed the damn controller to pieces. In fact, it left a big old scorch mark in it. So, but this is still a good piece of aluminum, can be used for a heat sink for my bridge rectifier. So I'll clean all that off. But today what I've been doing, so let me get back to my story. So I went ahead and decided to just take all Grizzly's guts out, get rid of it, put it in a box, be done with it. What might have happened, and it just hit me there right before I mentioned it in this video, that when I fried that board, it may have shorted this out because it was laying on the bed on my, I put a mark in my bed too. I'm pissed about that too. I got a burn mark on the other side, a melted spot on my damn ways. Had that meal for going on 5 years, 6 years, somewhere around there, and it was spotless. Well, it ain't no more. Anyway, been having a rough time of it, man. So I decided to put. I had one last opportunity. I was looking over there in my box of electronic parts and boxes and stuff like that, outlets, and I happened across a MC60 treadmill controller. I said, well, hell, I didn't even know I had that. Yeah, it's not going to be the permanent fix. I'm just waiting for the parts to finish it. But until I get the parts, I needed my mill running. So I decided to use that MC60 board, which is actually in here, and it's just dangling inside there, just laying there in the back side of this. I've got the back off of this box, and I put a switch, on-off switch here, because I wanted to use this switch in my box that I'm building. I wanted to use this switch, but it's got 4 contacts on it, and I don't understand that, and I don't really understand the diagram that's on it. I'll put it up here and let you guys look at that diagram if it's focused enough. I don't know how good it's going to look. Let me get behind the camera. Alright, well, that's about the best I can show you. But anyway, it's got 4 contacts on it. A power switch is just two lines that goes in line with the hot. So I'm not understanding this. So I decided, well, let me test it and see which one's going to contact. So I put a continuity tester on it. I put it on the 2 leads here, hit and push the green button. This switch is actually not activated until you get power to it, which makes no sense to me. So does that mean that you have black on one side on both of them and white on the other side, and it just has power all the time, and then it don't have power until you hit the button so that this power can activate the button? Is that the way that's supposed to work? I figured it was like a rocker switch, just a push button, but it's not. I'm getting ready to steel wool it and mask everything off and take my switches out. I'm gonna just mask around this, and I can just pop the knob off of that and mask that. This I can mask off. And this here used to be a Generac power. I can't see what that word is. Part of it's missing. But this used to be a long box. The other half is right over there on my bar stool. You see that? And I just put a wooden bottom in it. And then I put one of those that comes out of a computer power supply. And I just put it in here. So now this is where the power will come in. This is going to be the main power on and off. And this one here operates the no, that's this one right here. This one operates the feed, the right and left for my x-axis, going back and forth. So this one here means that my bed is going in that direction. This one means that the bed's going in this direction. And I got that little crooked still. I mean, these things are hard to get right. You know the best way to do this, to put those on and keep them straight, is put just a dab bit of RTV gasket maker on the bottom of it and set it down on there, squeeze it down, get it where it's straight, and just leave it until it dries and cures, and then put your switch in, and those will always stay straight. I always fight with those things to get them straight, and it's still not straight. So this one here is the speed of my, and I usually run it about 50%, which is halfway. This is the power switch for this row right here. This whole row is powered by this switch right here. Alright, so remember, we got this one to power all of it off. And this one just doesn't need to be on all the time because I don't always use it. So then, let me set you guys up here and see if we can get a look at this thing. Alright, so then we have this plate that will go right there. And everywhere that this is at, where it's got the scribble in it, that is just to indicate when I go to install stuff, I know that I can't put nothing there because I have a 30 amp reset breaker over here on the side. And I'll show you that here in a minute. This here is a part that I cannot put nothing in because that's where my power supply for my 12 volt is. Now this is a computer power supply that I put in it simply because it's got 3.3 volts, it's got 5 volts, which I probably won't use, but you never know. It's nice to have it. I'd rather have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. So there you go. And it's got 12 volts. So the 12 volt runs this unit right here. And because this is my power feed, this whole row right here. So basically what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to paint this thing black. And I may do a white strip right where this is at, or a different colored strip showing that this is a separated, isolated system right here. So then I got my magnetic DROs that I'm going to put on there, just like that. So that'll be right about right there, about a ½ inch from the top. Straighten these all up. And this thing's going to look good when it fills underneath that. Metal gets stuck to that magnet. Alright, so then that'll go right there just like that. Something looks crooked. I think I got that just a hair crooked. This side here is just a little higher than the other one. But that don't mean, this here could be crooked, but I don't think it is. But anyway, then we got this, and then I haven't moved my Z-axis up and down yet. I'm waiting to move it. I had a plate here, I had a plate here. This was this unit right here. And this was the DROs and the switch. So now let's open this thing up. And this is where that switch will go. Alright, so let's move this out of the way. And then I made thumb screws and threaded these for 1/4 20. Just like that. But I plan to do this box in black, because that seems to be the theme, and I'm thinking about painting my mill black too. A lot of masking to do to mask all them labels and stuff off, but I want to paint that thing black. So now it's on a hinge, and it will fold all the way back down. So this is basically going to be facing up, and it's going to be mounted underneath the bench, just like that, with the wood side down. So the air is going to come through these holes right here, and I'm thinking about making that a little bigger and putting a piece of screen in there, something like this stuff right here. Put something like that in there. But I don't know. I might just make one. But really, yeah, I could put a vent here, because in order for me to mount this up underneath this bench, because of that hangover right there, it's about 3/4 of an inch hangover from the boards that's on the shelf. So when I move this part right here and get it out of the way, then I can go in here and put a 2x4 going crossways in both sides, however wide this is, like imagine it down here on this. And that would leave this center open in the back, so it would be like a vent. So if I just put a screen on the inside of this, or put a, well, I'm making a vent cover for the fan on the bottom, and I can just print out another one and do the top the same way. So when I go to put it up in there, air will be sucked in from back here underneath, and it will come out the bottom of the box. So that'll come across everything, keep it cool. And I'm planning on putting a, now this one here, this power supply is going to also power my controller. So I've got my plug that I can unplug anytime I want to, because it's a computer power supply plug. So this is just mounted up against the bottom here because the fan's coming out the bottom. So the air comes through here, and through the other side there's vents right here. And that'll work. Because this is the one the power supply I made for that cross power feed. So then I've got my 30 amp breaker, and it's a heavy duty one, it looks to me like. Then I've got my choke. So that heat sink that I just showed you, after I clean it up, that will go right here. And I'm hoping I can utilize these holes, because these holes are threaded for 1032. And every one of these, or some of them are just straight through holes. I threaded one of them, so they can all be threaded 1032, the ones that are not. I threaded this down with 1032 screws also. And we're going to try to put that heat sink right there, and then we're going to put our bridge rectifier right here. So actually, I'm wondering if maybe I should put it right there, because actually right there would be the better place to put it. Because what would happen is the air would come through here, and it would go through them fins that are long ways, go through them fins and right through this, and it would circulate a whole lot better. If you had it turned this way, the air is going this way, so there's no way for it to get underneath the fins. So that would make more sense. So placement is very important on this. So I'm thinking maybe we'll put the bridge rectifier right there. And let's make it look official, make it look like that sticker belongs where it's at. So we'll kind of split it up right there. Alright, so then we will pretend that this is our controller. See, that's what it did. It fried. It blowed the MOSFET up, or what? I guess that's a MOSFET, right? I don't know what it does, but it fried that circuit board. I don't know if it can be fixed or not with a new MOSFET. Actually, I think it just burnt the circuit board in two. You know, I might be able to bridge that and get it back to working. But anyway, let's pretend this is our controller that we got in here. Now this here will be moved into, and I forgot to put that one in. So I'm gonna have to figure out where I'm gonna put that. So we got our DROs here, and this is to control the speed of the motor. So right below this would probably be a good place to put it. So we'll put the speed controller for the motor, the main motor, right here. So that'll work. Alright, so we'll put our controller right here, and it also has a fan on it. So we can put that right there in the center of these two holes. Now I'm probably going to open this up a little bit more, probably about 109 millimeters square. Cut it out and get my, print another one of those plates that I'm making to put over top of this one. So then I also put a ground in here where I can hook up grounds, and this one here was already there, but I wanted one like this because I want to ground everything. So you never know when I might need that. So then I'll have to, once I've got all these wires stuffed down in there except for this one because it's a hot wire, and if I plug this up by accident, I actually need to cut that off if I can find my tool. Let's cut that off. That way if it gets up against something, it ain't going to hit nothing. So let's see here. What else do we need to put in here? I was thinking about putting these, one of these breakers on my motor, but I'm not real sure how that's going to work. This says it's a 12 amp. They're not going to work. I don't think a 12 amp's going to work on these, because if I got this correct, 110 volts AC comes out or comes into it. Then it goes out as AC and goes into the bridge rectifier, and then the bridge rectifier turns it into DC current. And here's where I think is what I think is going on is that, and I could be wrong, is that you got 110 volts of DC current. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it just makes sense to me that it would change it the same value of voltage. Here's my choke for the AC side. So this is what will go to the bridge rectifier from the controller. And I want to try to make this look really nice inside here, man, because I don't like a lot of wires sticking around, so I'll have to do this in a way where I can make things look nice. So there's my choke for that. And then here's the choke for the motor. So the only other thing left is a fuse for the motor. And I'm wondering if these 30 amp fuses here would work, but I really would rather use a breaker. Because if I blow these, then where the hell are you going to get those damn things anymore? And I believe I would rather push a button and reset it than to go and get into my wallet that has nothing in it. It just makes sense to me to not use these. So they might work fine, but one day they'll blow and then you're shit out of luck and you need to mill something because you're too dumb to put a reset button in it. You got downtime. So this one here is my speed control for the X-axis on the mill. And then once I've got all this buttoned up, then I can take these wires here out and start eliminating a bunch of these, because really you don't need any of this right here at all. None of it. Every one of these blacks are ground. Every one of these reds are 5 volt. every one of these yellows is 12 volt, and every one of these oranges are 3.3 volts. Now, I'm going to be using 3.3 volts, and I'm going to be using 12 volt. So, this is powering both AC and DC, because I've got a jumper coming out of it right here. These two right here, they're black and white, just like your AC wires, because that's what these are, AC wires. So it makes me mad when I see people using white for positive. It's just wrong. So this is going to be the power that goes to my controller. I hope I got enough wire to make that happen, because I kind of want to hide these wires down here a little bit and make them look nice. So I'm probably going to have to 3D print me some things to stick there, that like a track, or maybe an eye or something that you can just pop these down into. Something. We'll do something. But I want this to be a nice box, because basically what this is going to have, it's going to have a line going, it's going to have two lines going out and one coming in. I'll have a line going to the power feed, which is two wires, red and black, and they'll be on a plug. And then I will reverse the plugs on the other motor, which is the Z-axis. That way I don't get them mixed up, because one is a momentary switch and the other one is a power switch without momentary. So when it's on, you take your hand off of it, it stays that way. Momentary, you push it, you let off of it, it goes off too. So that's a dead man switch. So still got a lot to do. I'm probably not going to paint the inside of it, because I like the way it looks. It's got that cream color to it, but I want to steel wool some of that stuff and get that out of there. And I brought steel wool in. I thought I had some fine double-aught steel wool, or triple-aught, but I just want to kind of brighten it up in there a little bit, get some of that rusty look, because this thing sat around for a long time and it looked pretty bad. The outside of it really looks bad. So we'll just take and clean this up. Don't need that in there rattling around in my way. And I'm just lightly steel wool on it, because that dirt's not on there very hard. It's just a little bit stuck. So that'll brighten it up in here, so make it a pleasure to work in it when you need to work on something or change something. And you got plenty of room in here to make just about anything you can imagine happen. So it's going to be a nice box, and I'm going to do the same thing for the lathe one day, if this test works out. This here, I'm just using my mill right now as a guinea pig to see if I can get it to everything to run on treadmill motors. I like DC motors. They're variable. You can change the speed, and AC is a little bit more asshole for me. You can only do but so much without spending $10,000 or $1,000 for a frickin' VFD, which I'm not quite sure I understand completely. So now let's button this up and get a good look at the outside of it. Let's button this up. Once this is all together and everything is hooked up, these two wires here goes to that. But I'm not ready to commit this to be bolted on there yet, because I still got to work on it, and working on this thing with this and the draping in the way is kind of Man, I just missed you guys, but I ain't gonna miss my drill. So all this will be black. Oh, and I forgot one of the most important things that I gotta put on this. That's right. The logo goes right there. So this is the bottom, and then it'll all be painted black. You got a cord. Where'd I put that cord? Nope, that's not it. Is this it? Yeah. This is it right here. It plugs in right there. Just like that. And then plugs into the wall. So it's easy for me to just reach underneath here and unplug it. So we're going to have the face of this right up against the, right here. Right up a square with that. And it'll take up this area right here. The fan will be here, which means I'm going to have to move that stuff back there, over there, and probably put a wall here so that nothing else can go on that shelf. Because I'm not going to reach underneath of it and around it to get anything. So I'll just cut it off right here. And yeah, it makes kind of a dungeon back in there, but I got a shield that goes up here. It's right there. That goes in behind here. I just got it out right now to, that's what hid all these wires. So I've marked these where they go in the control box. And that goes in it. And then this goes to the, the power feed. So that will get, I'll take the mate to that plug right there and mate it to the other one, and there'll be a plug-in come out of it, probably out of the bottom. Like maybe right there. Or I can make it come out here somewhere. I need two of them. One will plug in for the this motor here. And then the other one will be for this motor here. And then I don't know what I'm going to do about this light here. Oh, you know what? I do have 24 volt. Why don't I just put that one in there? What the hell am I thinking? Do I have enough room for that? Huh. I wonder if I have enough room for that. That would be interesting. I can find out, because I have another one that don't work that's the same size. But there's the case for one. And I keep that stuff, man. You never know when you might need that. I never even thought about this, or I would have rearranged this a different way. But you know what? That might actually go in there. But I don't want it in a place where it's going to be hard for me to put the wires and screws in it. However, let me get these out of the way. See, these things are aggravating. I need to get that cut off. Well, you know what? It is possible to put that in here. I could just rearrange everything the way what I was originally thinking about doing. This would be 24 volts. It's got fan on it. And man, I have got my shop a mess right now, man. They say there ain't no such thing as progress unless you made a mess. Alright, so let's just, this here is the same exact size as the other one. So we can have it right there, and we can have our control board right here somewhere. Maybe put the control board right here and put the bridge rectifier right here, under here, because remember all these wires are going to be gone. So that'll be nice to put there. Or maybe I can just put it on the side here. Because this metal's so thick and heavy duty that it taps really nice. So you can put probably about 3 threads in it on a 1032. So maybe 2. I haven't counted them, so I'm just guessing. And I got something in my damn sock. Feels like a damn piece of metal sticking me. So I might, well, I'm gonna have to, because I want to try to get that box out of there. So yeah, I think we're gonna do that. So I'm not ready to do that yet, because that has to stay running until I'm ready to put this up. Right now I'm in the process of getting ready to take this switch out and just have it dangled here somewhere, tape it up or something, just temporary, and so I can get this at least mounted. But I want to try to get all my holes that I need drilled before I put it in there, which I still have. I have to put some holes in it for grommets, so I can run 2 wires out to plug these 2 motors in. And then I need to cut this hole out here for the vent. And if I have to mount my bridge rectifier on the side here somewhere, I mean, it's possible that, let's just pretend this is the bridge rectifier. We can just put that right there, because this is what's going to be in. So we could just put the bridge rectifier right there. Because the wires going to the motor from the bridge rectifier is going to go out this side right here on the top, right straight across from this. So it will be very easy to put the bridge rectifier right here. And it's got that seam there where these 2 pieces were welded together. So the bend over of this is over about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. So we'll just leave it that way and mount it right there. That way air can get around both sides. So with all this aluminum in here, man, this thing ought to run pretty nice with that big fan. This one has a fan. This one's going to have a fan. So it's going to have plenty of fans to keep this thing cool. I just hope it ain't going to be loud. I'd rather hear my mill than my air. Anyway, I got a lot of work yet to do to it. So it's probably got too long already. So, but we'll go into this a little bit more when I get ready to. You guys will see this before it goes underneath there. In fact, I'll probably show me putting it in. So I need to get this mounted on it, and I could probably mount this box right there where it's at, because it's the same identical box as the one that's in it. Just take the board out of that one and put it in this one. So I can still mount this, but I want to make sure they're identical, because I have seen them different. Now, the reason I need the 3.3 volts is each one of these takes 3.3 volts. It uses these batteries right here. These are not the ones, but it's exactly like these, just thicker. Mine are the 2032s. These right here. And I'm getting tired of buying these damn things. Plus it doesn't want to work in the wintertime because the battery gets too damn cold. With a power supply, I wouldn't have that problem. Because on the end of this, there's a plug right there. I just need to figure out what that plug is. And you can't tell by the pictures on eBay. This is where you plug your reader in. And the reader is magnetic. So I'm wondering, I could probably get a DRO for this thing because the DRO is only freaking, I think the cheapest one I've seen was $79, and it had everything I wanted, hole patterns, split and all that stuff. But why can't I just use my readers? They're magnetic readers. They do exactly the same thing as the big fancy $150 frickin' readers. That's crazy what they want for stuff like that. You can get the DRO for next to nothing, but when you go to buy one of the rails or the slide rails, that's where it costs the money. You spend more on that than you do anything. So I'm trying to figure out if there's a way, and if anybody does know for a way to do that, I would like to adapt these plugs, which is, I think these were the mini USB. I think the first one was micro, this one's the mini. This is a mini USB that plugs into these DROs. Why can't I get an adapter to adapt this to the kind of plug that goes on? It looks like it's basically a USB plug. So why can't I get one for mini to USB and use my readers? So if anybody's got an answer to that, I really would like to hear your answer on that, because that would save me a lot of aggravation. These here actually don't work that bad, but every once in a while, this thing will skip to a huge number. I had it happen twice one time. So now I don't trust them. Once they show me that they can't be trusted, they're out of here. Your time is over. So I don't know where I'm going to put my, what did I do, drop my logo in the floor. It ain't going to be this logo, because this was the logo that I made. And do you see anything wrong with it? I do. Let's see who can figure out what's wrong with it. Alright, I'll tell you. The bull's not centered. I didn't center it when I made these. Next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and get all that stuff cut out as much as I can remember that I'm going to need, because once you paint it and you start drilling, those long strings that cuts out of the metal swirls around and scratches all around everywhere. It makes a mess. So I like to try to have all my holes done before I get to that point. And like I said, we got a cover that's going to go on the back side of this. And I'll probably take some black paint and paint that inside there, or spray paint it. Well, I will spray paint it. And I'll just have to put something over this piece of cardboard and cut that shape and just push it in there. And then I can paint all this, paint the whole box black. Probably just going to go with flat black. I might go semi-gloss or matte probably a matte would be better, because that would match my lathe more. That's what I'm trying to do, get all my tools. I don't know why I'm such a black, dark man. Well, I do know why, but we won't get into that. So, I do need to add another light in here somewhere. So I need to dedicate a place for lights. I might do that right here, because I scratched that before I figured out that this here couldn't be, or I had a place to put stuff here too. So from here to here, and from here to here, I can put anything I want, or however thick this wood is, probably from there to there. So basically I have, get my pen here. I've got a 1-inch board, which will bring it to right there. All right. I know this is the edge of the power supply. And this comes over about 1 inch also, because there's a fold over. So anything in here, I can put whatever I want. I just got to make sure that the wires and everything are nice and pinned down and staying in the same spot with the door, so that when the door opens, it don't pinch it. So a lot of planning in this process. In fact, let me draw this side too. All right, and then this one here, same thing. That's the only area that I can use to put stuff. And then right here, like I said, it's because of that 30 amp breaker switch, which I hope is going to work all right. So, oh, my back is about had it, guys. My sleeping habits have been bad lately. Normal people are in bed at this time of night. Anyway, hope you guys learned something out of this or enjoyed it. You guys have a good one. Later.